My name is Ethan Carter, and for almost a year, I refused to tell anyone this story because I knew how insane it sounded. The police didn't believe me. The FBI questioned me twice. Even my own parents quietly wondered if I had something to do with my friend's disappearance. I don't blame them. If someone else told me this story, I'd think they were lying too. But everything I'm about to tell you happened. 3 of us left Jacksonville, Florida on a Friday morning. Only one came back. The other 2 never existed again. Not officially. Not in any way that makes sense.
There was me, my best friend Ryan Holloway, and Ryan's younger sister, Emily. Ryan was 28, fearless and obsessed with exploring strange places. Emily was 24, a documentary filmmaker who believed every abandoned town had a hidden story. We'd spent years visiting ghost towns across the Southeast. Most turned out to be exactly what you'd expect: empty buildings, broken windows, and local legends exaggerated by the internet. When Ryan found a forum post about a forgotten Florida town called Ashwood, we laughed at how fake it sounded. The post was short. If you drive through Ashwood after sunset, don't stop. If someone waves at you, don't wave back, and never stay past midnight. No coordinates, no explanation, just that warning. Ryan loved mysteries. Within a week, we were on our way. Our GPS led us down a narrow 2-lane road surrounded by thick pine forest and swampland. The farther we drove, the stranger things became. The radio dissolved into static. Our phones lost service. Even the digital clock in Ryan's truck blinked 7:13 over and over before going blank. Finally, we passed an old wooden sign. It read, "Welcome to Ashwood. Population 186. The paint looked fresh, but the sign itself looked decades old. The town was tiny. 1 gas station, a diner, a church, a motel, a handful of houses. Everything looked perfectly maintained. Almost too perfect. There were flowers on porches, freshly painted fences, children's bicycles in yards. But there wasn't a single person outside. Not one. We stopped for fuel. An elderly man slowly emerged from inside the station. He wore an old sheriff's badge that looked like it belonged in the 1950s. He stared at us without smiling. "You folks just passing through?" Ryan grinned. "We're thinking about staying the night." The old man's face turned pale. "No." Ryan laughed. "We already booked the motel." The old man leaned closer. "You'll leave before dark." Emily asked why. He looked toward the center of town. "They count strangers after sunset." None of us understood what he meant. Before we could ask another question, he walked back inside and locked the door. Around 6 that evening, the town suddenly came alive. People filled the streets. Families laughed. Children played. Music echoed through the square. It looked like a small-town harvest festival. Except everyone smiled exactly the same way. Wide. Perfect. Unblinking. When we walked past them, every conversation stopped. Every head turned. Every pair of eyes followed us. Then, as one, they smiled again. Emily whispered, "Please tell me you're filming this." Ryan looked down at his camera. The screen was black. Every battery we'd packed had died. All of them. At exactly midnight,
The church bell rang once. Every person in town froze. Not paused, froze. Mid-step, mid-conversation. Even a dog stopped moving. Then, everyone looked toward us. At the exact same time, the smiling disappeared. A little girl quietly pointed at Ryan. Then she whispered, "They chose him first."
Ryan laughed nervously. Okay, enough with the creepy act. He walked toward the truck. Emily and I followed. Ryan climbed into the driver's seat. I reached the passenger door. Emily was behind me. I heard Ryan say, "Guys?" I turned. The driver's seat was empty. The truck door was still open. The engine was running. Ryan was gone. No scream, no footsteps, no struggle. Just gone.
We ran through town screaming his name. People calmly watched us. An older woman frowned. "Who are you looking for?" "Our friend!" "There were only 2 of you." Emily nearly screamed. "There were 3!" The woman looked genuinely confused. "No, you've always been 2. Even Ryan's backpack had disappeared. Every photo on Emily's camera now showed only the 2 of us. Where Ryan had been standing, there was empty space.
We locked ourselves inside our room. Emily kept replaying videos. Ryan's voice remained. You could hear him laughing, asking questions, making jokes. But he wasn't visible anywhere. Objects moved by themselves. Doors opened for someone who couldn't be seen. It was as if reality had erased his body, but forgotten his voice. At 2:17 a.m., someone knocked. 3 slow knocks. Emily looked through the peephole. No one. Then Ryan's voice came from outside. "Ethan, let me in." She nearly opened the door, until I remembered. Ryan's voice had been recorded on the videos. Maybe whatever was outside had learned it. We stayed silent. The knocking continued until sunrise.
The next morning, we found the streets empty again. Emily wanted to run. I agreed. We packed the truck. Just before leaving, Emily noticed a little boy standing beside the church. He held Ryan's favorite baseball cap. She jumped out. "Ryan!" I shouted for her to stop. The boy smiled, then walked behind the church. Emily followed him. I chased after her. When I reached the corner, the boy was gone. Emily was gone too. Only Ryan's cap lay on the ground. I searched every building, every house, every street. No Emily. I ran into the diner. The waitress looked annoyed. "Can I help you?" "My friend disappeared." She looked around. "You've been traveling alone." I froze. "No." She tilted her head. "Sir, you've been alone since yesterday." I didn't stop running until I reached my truck. The road out of town seemed much longer than before. In my rearview mirror, the townspeople stood in perfect rows at the edge of Ashwood. Every one of them smiled. Every one of them waved. I remembered the warning. Don't wave back. So I gripped the steering wheel and kept my eyes on the road until the town disappeared behind the trees. The police searched for Ashwood. They found no town.
Only dense forest and marshland. No sign, no church, no motel. Nothing. Ryan and Emily were both declared missing. But that wasn't the strangest part. Ryan's birth certificate vanished from government records. Emily's college transcripts disappeared. Their driver's licenses, tax records, and social media accounts were gone. Even their parents' family photo albums had empty spaces where they should have been. It was as though they had been carefully cut out of history itself. Everyone forgot them. Everyone. Except me. Or so I thought. Last month, I was sorting through old travel photos. One picture showed me standing beneath a weathered wooden sign. It read, "Welcome to Ashwood."
Behind me stood the smiling townspeople. I counted them. There were 188, not 186. 2 more than before. Ryan was standing in the front row. Emily stood beside him. Both were smiling. Both were waving. And written across the bottom of the photograph, in handwriting that wasn't mine, were 7 chilling words. "We're home now. Come visit us again." I burned the photo. The next morning, it was back on my kitchen table. This time, there was something different. Standing in the back row was someone I recognized immediately. Me. Smiling. Waving. Waiting.